pounding the table and just letting them have it, after what they've done. And a bunch of them ought to go to jail.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Bill, I noticed you've really been in kind of an up mood here lately with gold hitting new all-time highs. It's got to do your heart some good there.
Yeah, well, we've gone up 10 days in a row if you consider the July 4th holiday trading a period. And, I don't think I can ever recall gold doing that. 10 days in a row after they rated it 2 weeks ago of Friday, and it's very exciting. And to be honest with you, I'm stunned. My website's blah.
Yeah.
It's like we learned on Thursday the specs were selling. They talk about an overcrowded market. I've never seen a less crowded market. Everyone's more concerned about it going down, fear, than going up, greed. And when markets get killed is when everyone's greedy and everyone's buying, and it's overweight. From a sentiment standpoint, it gets way overbought. It's not that way at all. There's no telling what it can do here.
Yeah, it's got to do your heart some good. Our next question is going to be from RTG. Go ahead, RTG.
Hi, Bill. It's been stated on the GATA website as well as Jeffrey Christian that the amount of gold bullion trading in London has just become so huge, and compared to the amount of bullion on deposit, it's by a factor of over 100 to 1. And if some large bullion investor actually demanded physical delivery, well, that action could lead to a breaking of the bank that sold the bullion, as well as a run on the entire paper gold system. Now, we've seen the availability of gold, how tight the availability of gold in London is by your own Adrian Douglas. He caught the London Precious Metals Clearing Corporation assigning multiple QSIP numbers to the same gold bar. Just in your estimation, how much longer can they continue this before it just all finally blows up?
Well, this is a fun one because Adrian Douglas first was highlighted to me or got involved with me about that he felt that he was going into the volumes about being 50 to 1 in London, and basically about the total the huge amount of allocated accounts and the over in London. And I said, geez, Adrian, because I didn't know anything about it, and I said, if we're wrong here, we're just going to stick our neck out on this one. I said, man, the establishment can come right back at us. And he was very confident. And one of our supporters was testifying, Harvey Organ, at this hearing. And Adrian asked a question and said something about, stood up or something in support of Harvey, said something about 50 to 1. And Jeff Christian popped in that it was not just 50 to 1, it was 100 to 1. I almost fell off my chair because here's a guy who's helping our case and didn't realize what he was doing. Because the idea being with all this stuff being traded, it's traded in the paper market or it's traded in the physical market, but the volume's too high for what's really there. And so it sheds a light that something is very remiss in the silver market. And you never know, when can it blow? I don't know, but these things happen. One day it just happens, and you'll never, hardly ever will predict it. These things come out of nowhere. Somebody, some way, just decides to clean out the physical silver market, buy everything. Why it hasn't happened? We can't understand it. But we know a lot of people are just afraid of the governments. They're afraid of doing it because of retaliation, and I don't know why. The COMEX inventories are way down. Total's about 100 million ounces, and you could just go after you could just go to the July contract now and just take delivery of all the silver, but they never do. I don't understand that honestly, but I know that it's going to get very precarious. and I would expect silver to accelerate in the very near future. And we might be looking at $50 again. Who knows? Maybe around the time of our conference, or not long after.
Okay. Well, Bill, going back to the Clearing Corporation, the LPMCL, there are 6 banks own it. Okay. Now, the Bank of England is supposed to be supervising the operations of the LBMA and the LPMCL. Do you have you ever heard exactly who is responsible? Is the Bank of England ultimately responsible for a default, or would it be the 6 members of the Clearing Corp that have the ultimate responsibility? Has anyone ever broached that subject that you know of?
No, I mean, because you never get any real answers, but it's an interesting question, and the whole thing's a joke. I mean, J.P. Morgan, everyone knows, is the major short. At one point, 30,000 contracts in silver. I don't know what it is now, 20, 25, 18, but still by far. And here, they're the custodian for the silver ETF. It's like the hens and the fox in the hen house. The biggest gold short is HSBC. Who's the custodian for the big gold ETF? HSBC. Who's investigating the silver market? The CFTC. Who's chairman of the CFTC? A Goldman Sachs guy. Who's the Fed's bank? J.P. Morgan. Yeah, who's the Treasury's bank? Goldman Sachs. Right. They're all in bed with each other. I mean, nothing's... So when you get back to the Bank of England, they're the ones who with their announced sale of auctions in advance in 1999 in May, brought more people, because nobody sells. You don't try to. If you want to maximize profits, you don't announce what you're going to sell in advance and then sell it at the lowest price. Everyone laughed at them. That brought more people to realizing GATA was right than almost anything else during our existence. Mm-hmm. So all I know is, what would it matter who's supposed to do what? They're all the same. They're all in bed with each other, and when it blows up, how it's going to affect things, I don't know. But they'll all lie and cheat, steal, and back each other up.
All right. So they're all joined at the hips. In other words.
Absolutely, no question.
All joined at the hip. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
All right, Bill. Final question.
And that goes to the exchanges, the COMEX, and the CME, and what they do with the margin requirements. They're all in bed with each other.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, all these practices of the LBMA and LPMCL, all the knowledgeable players in the market know about it by now. And therefore, are these institutions, as well as the U.S. and UK governments, vulnerable to blackmail by either the Chinese, Russians, Indians, Arabs, or anyone else with the means to break the bank by demanding delivery of a large quantity of bullion?
That's correct.
Well, they would be vulnerable to blackmail then, and it could even affect our foreign policy.
Well, it could. I mean, basically, I would think the United States would consider that an act of war.
Mm-hmm.
That's how serious this thing is. What Chris Powell said in jest is not in jest. They would rather have our nuclear secrets exposed than what we've done with our gold, or what's going on with the U.S. gold market.
Right. Got it. Thank you very much, Bill. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Bill, this is Romans again. Got a question for you. Do you feel that the sovereign debt defaults will be the catalyst to bring down the current debt-based system, or something else?
Well, your guess is as good as mine, Romans. I really don't know. I mean, I know that's bad. I know the situation in the United States, which Republicans and Democrats are all. I mean, they're dancing around each other. I mean, they're not going to do anything till we have a terrible problem. I don't know. We're broke. I mean, what it's going to be. All I know is that more and more people are realizing how bad and hopeless the situation is, and that they're not going to do anything, and except the only way out is in printing money and inflation. That's it. There's no other way out. I mean, it's so obvious. That's why they were talking the other day, well, maybe we'll do another kind of QE3. What do you mean maybe? It's a political year. They're going to do anything they can and disguise it if they have to to goose the markets. And more people are beginning to realize there's no other option. And gold, even at these prices, looks more and more attractive. If nothing else, to hold what you have.
Well, I guess we can all agree that it's going to definitely collapse. Who knows what the catalyst will be? But one more follow-up real quick. What role do you foresee GATA having and playing in the reinstituting of gold and silver as real money after the collapse? Will you guys have a role in that?
I don't think so. I mean, we'll probably get blamed for it. Instead, that's just the way these things go. We don't do it for the credit. And everyone else, we're human. Everyone likes to see great job and good stuff and got a name out there and be recognized. But you can't do stuff for things like that because a lot of the times, like I said, it's the reverse happens. You get blamed for what happens instead of people understanding you're just trying to help people out and get the truth out there. So I don't know what's going to happen. Again, the problem is, what are you going to do if we don't have the gold, which we don't think we have? There hasn't been a legitimate audit, maybe ever. They say 1955, but I've looked into that, and they're not even so sure about that. So nobody knows if there's any gold there.
Well,
how can you get it? Then to even have talks like this, that would have to be dealt with. And what if it comes out the United States has 30% of the gold that's there? I mean, I don't know. I mean, naturally, we're having this conference. We're not shy. We'd love to tell our story to the world, but it's very hard because the media won't print it. So if we have our day, maybe our London conference in a few weeks will do it. Maybe it won't. But we're having a lot of fun trying, and a lot of wonderful people, and most exciting, rewarding thing I've done in my life. So just for that, I'm very grateful.
Well, I think we're going to have a worldwide gold rush before this is all over.
Yeah, well, it hasn't started yet. That's what I alluded to earlier.
Right.
It's unbelievable how few people. I bet you if you asked 100 people how many are involved in gold, silver, or even the shares, you'd be lucky to get 2 people to say yes.
Yep,
2.
I agree. Okay, we're speaking with Bill Murphy, chairman of GATA. Please visit GATA website at www.gata.org, as well as Bill's personal website, La Metropole Cafe